This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Hey, welcome to the Steve and Crypto Show presented by thestevestrout.com. I am Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. What's happening? Welcome to episode 153. We appreciate any of you that are tuning in right now, tomorrow, week from now, whatever it may be. We appreciate all you guys that have supported this podcast for a whole whopping 4 years now. We've had a hell of a time doing this. We hope you guys have had fun listening. And as always, we got to pay the bills because, like I said last week, it's free for you, but it's not free for us to have a podcast. So a good way to help out with supporting the show, of course, is heading over to Patreon. Everybody has a Patreon these days, and our Patreon is full of movie spoilers. It's full of concert talk, board game talk, there's horror stuff in there from time to time, but a lot of it is just kind of extra stuff that's going on in our lives that is not always horror. Of course, there's pop culture because we love that, and that's a huge part of our lives. But you can head over to patreon.com/Steve Crypto, and you can contribute as little as $1 a month.
And as a matter of fact, we have a new interview up at Patreon. We have this rising country artist. She's into horror. She's got a punk rock background. She's down with the cool shit like us. Her name's India Ramey. Head over there and check it out. It's available to all patrons. It will go free here in the next couple of days so everybody can enjoy it because I really want you guys to meet this person. Neither one of us are huge country fans. I dig it. I probably like it more than you do. But she's just a cool-ass person and one of those people that definitely you guys should know if you're just a music lover and you like cool shit like us. But yeah, patreon.com/Steve Crypto. Go check that out. What else we got? Right.
And as far as other new things you can get that pertain to this show, you can head over to our merch page at Etsy, which is Etsy/shop/Steve Crypto merch. We have new hoodies over there. There's new tote bags. There's a classic coffee mug that we've had over there for a while, and you need one in your cupboard. So go over to Etsy. Again, Etsy/shop/Steve Crypto merch. Go check out everything we have over there. There's a lot of things I didn't even mention. What are they? I don't know. Go check out the website and find out.
There's also a sale right now.
That's right. Let us save you some money. So go over there, check it out. You don't even have to use a discount code. It's already discounted for you. So after you're done checking out Etsy, you can visit our Facebook group. We have a page with 1,000 members and growing, and they have contributed projects that they're working on, and you're welcome to join and do the same. Show us maybe a trailer for your upcoming indie film, or maybe you have a music video that you're working on and you have a clip from that. If it's, as long as it's not like political or religious, then we welcome it. And extra points for it being spooky.
Porn, okay? Oh, just not religious porn.
Or political.
Yeah, no political or religious pornography.
Yeah. And of course, you can visit our social media pages at CryptoZoo88, at the Steve Strout. Go ahead and follow us and stay updated on things that we're working on. And we are also part of a awesome network that Steve is going to tell you about. A awesome network full of many different podcasts of different varieties and genres.
Oh yeah, awesome. They're so awesome. So yeah, head over to the Deluxe Edition Network, and you'll find a slew of independent podcasts that are all there promoting each other, and they're all talking about different topics and a lot of great shows. So head over there, Deluxe Edition Network. If I could say it properly, Deluxe Edition Network.com. Head over there, check it out. There should be a link to vote for the Denny's. I think it's still happening. The voting's still open, but I don't know. Head over there, check it out. We're part of it. We're your favorite show on there, anyways. So just as long as you're checking us out, it's all good. And you should also, we'd like to extend a thank you to our friends at the Goth Cloth Company. They're a great female-owned and operated business. They pride themselves in being eco-focused. They recycle materials. They make products to order rather than overproducing and wasting. And they really focus on being a supportive community for all lovers of the dark, macabre, and spooky, even us old timers. But they got a lot of really unique designs and creative stuff there. Check them out, Goth Cloth Company. And of course, links will always be in the show notes.
Yeah, they have a Halloween drop that's coming. Actually, it might have already been released. I think I did see something the other day, and you guys should go and look at it as well. Go to gothcloth.com.
So last week, we had Brett Wagner and Tom Matthews. We're both going to be at the Halloween Expo, where we are also going to be representing it. We'll talk a little more about that in a minute. Who do we got this week?
This week's guests are Chad Scheres and Nick Benson. Now, both of them have heavy resumes. Chad, if you're a Washington convention goer, I guarantee you've seen him at least one convention up here in the Northwest. He goes to many different conventions, and Nick has a wide variety of projects he's been a part of as well with special effects, but I'm not going to get too far into that because they're going to tell you all about it here in just a minute. So let's get to our guest interviews with Chad Scheres and Nick Benson.
Hi, I'm Doug Jones, the tall, skinny, goofy actor who plays lots of monsters and creatures on film and in TV. But today, I want you to know that you are listening to the best podcast on the air, and that would be the Steve and Crypto Show.
Monsters, ghosts, and the living dead are haunting Spokane October 5th and 6th. The second annual Halloween Xspo, an all-ages, family-friendly show. Come as your favorite character, get autographs from famous horror stars, and pose for killer photos. Starring Alex Vincent and Christina Leese from the Chucky franchise, John Abrams from Scary Movie, Oscar-winning makeup artist V. Neal from Beetlejuice, and more. Halloween Xspo, October 5th and 6th at the Spokane Convention Center. Grab your tickets at the door and at HalloweenXpo.com.
Hey, Stephen Crypto listeners. The promotion train for the Halloween Expo is chugging along here, and we have a veteran of the show. I mean, the show's only been going 2 years, but he was there last year. He was a featured guest last year, so I guess that makes him a veteran. But he's also been an old friend on the scene here in the Northwest on all the conventions. He's been at Crypticon and all the other big shows, particularly the horror stuff. He's known for his how would I describe it? Think like the gross out garbage pail kids kind of art. But yeah, he's awesome dude, cool dude, always great to chat with at shows. We have Chad Scheres. He's a Northwest guy who does all the shows, and why don't we just let him describe his stuff, because I sound like a moron describing it. So tell us about your work.
Good morning. Yeah, I do ugly monster art. That's my thing. I've been drawing monsters my whole life, and love doing these shows and getting out there. I've been working for Tops for about 10 years now, doing sketch cards for the Garbage Pail Kids, and I also do final art for Wacky Packages sets and sketch cards. I've worked on Star Wars, Walking Dead, Stranger Things, Ninja Turtles, Mars Attacks, just about every set that Topps puts out, I'm doing sketch cards for. I did not create Garbage Pail Kids. A lot of people come up and say, "You're the guy that created Garbage Pail Kids." Like, no, they came out in 1985. I was still in high school. I didn't create them. That was, John Pound and, and later Tom Bunk, all those guys that, created that stuff. I've just been I do the sketch cards, and they're fun. I love them. But yeah, I do the monster art, anything horror related. Mad Magazine, I'm licensed through the Roth estate to do Rat Fink. I knew Ed before he died, did some work with him before he passed, so that was an honor to get to do that. Heavily influenced by the Rat Fink and Mad Magazine, like I said, cartoons of the 70s, 60s and 70s, Grindhouse Drive-In, all that. When kids were outside playing when I was a kid, and I was inside watching horror movies and cartoons and drawing monsters. That's what I do.
I didn't know the Ed Roth connection. That's really cool.
Yeah. I actually had back in the late 90s, I had made a Rat Fink Pez dispenser, and somebody saw it and forwarded a picture of it to him, and we started talking, and did a couple of shows, hot rod shows, the Rat Fink reunions. I actually got to sculpt one of the trophies for the Rat Fink reunion in, I believe it was 99 or 2000. So that was awesome. And then, anytime I do a Rat Fink art or related art now, I always make sure and send a little percentage to his estate. Eileen Roth, the widow, is running the estate out of Manti, Utah, and full respect for her and keeping the brand going and alive. And the stepson Cody, great guy. Yeah, they're good people. Ed was a good guy too, depending on who you ask and what mood you caught him in, I guess. But I fortunately only had met him maybe a handful of times, 5 or 6 times. So I never experienced the mean Ed Roth, but he was always cool to me.
That's kind of cool to be sort of part of such a his Rat Fink stuff and everything is so like iconic.
Yeah, it's a huge legacy.
It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, you saw Rat Finks and the Clay Smith cams and the Moon Eyes logo, and I didn't know what a Moon Eyes was, but you saw that logo everywhere, and it was just so ingrained in my head. And that whole Rat Fink style of art influenced so many people. You see it everywhere. I mean, from The Simpsons to, just about everything you see is like, oh, that can be traced back to Ed Roth, which Ed Roth was the brain behind it all, but he had a big, huge stable of artists too. I mean, Robert Williams and Ed Newton and Monty, actually, who drew the original Rat Fink. Ed gave him an idea, and Monty drew that Rat Fink. No matter what anyone else says, Ed told stories about who did it, but that was Monty. He did that. Ed made the story about it. He drew it on a refrigerator door or a napkin. I mean, there's so many stories, but he was a showman and he told stories, and he embellished stuff. I wasn't actually there, so I don't know what really happened, but on all accounts, it was Ed's idea. Monty drew it. They stole it from Stanley Mouse. The idea, it goes way back. So, but anyway, I just love all that stuff. Monster art, bug-eyed creatures. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Right. It's a whole nother topic.
A whole nother topic. We could talk for. I could talk for hours. Give me a topic and let's go. I'm ready. I could talk for hours about anything.
Right. Well, we're not going to keep you hours this morning. It's too early for that. But so, what have you been working on lately?
I'm working on a new set for my personal card set, which will be out next year. I'm working on putting that together. I just finished up a Halloween set for Topps sketch cards that hasn't been announced yet, so I can't say what it is, but it will be a Halloween set, and it should be announced any day. It'll be an online set. I did about 100 sketch cards for that. I just finished up a set for Marvel, which was my first set for Upper Deck and Marvel, which I thought was weird. They contacted me out of the blue and said, "Hey, you want to do a Marvel set?" I'm absolutely, but I don't do like Captain America and stuff. You see what I do. Like, no, it's cool. We like your stuff, So, I did a lot of Green Goblin and Man Wolf and some of the creatures from the old horror Marvel. I stuck with the monsters and villains and stuff, and I threw a couple of good guys in there. But yeah, I did only like 30 sketch cards for that set, and that's called Marvel EX, I believe, and it should be out around November, I think. So that was fun. And then other than that, I'm just working on whatever comes to mind every day.
And then, of course, the convention scene, which you've been hitting quite a few shows and traveling.
Yes, definitely. I've got a few ideas for prints that I want to make up for Halloween Expo, and I know we've only got 10 days now, so I'm really trying to get those going. And I just got back from CreepyCon in Ontario, California. I did that over the weekend. That was an amazing time. Great show. I met so many nice, cool people there. The cast of Terrifier, they're great. Elliot Furlum, the kid, cool dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bumped into him many times, at the front desk and at the pool and at the restaurant. And, you go down and have like the highlight, meeting all those great guys is a highlight. But yes, one of the highlights, the biggest one, was the final night. I went down to the lounge to have dinner, and there's Damian Leone and David Howard Thornton from Terrifier sitting there. I was like, hey guys, hello again, because I had said hi to them throughout the show. And they're like, hey. And then I sat down and had my food. And then when I was leaving, I was like, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. I hope you had a great weekend. Didn't want to bother them because I know that they've been talking to fans for 3 days. And that's probably the last thing they wanted to do was talk to another fan. They both just started talking to me. And I was there for like another half hour to 45 minutes with them and hanging out with those guys. I was like, cool, So I wasn't the annoying fanboy. I was the fanboy that sat and listened to them tell me stories. It was great. Very cool guys.
I think that's something that I really love about the horror conventions, because it's everybody just more accessible, and there's more, most of the creators and performers and artists are all fans too.
Right.
So it's like they're there to have a good time and have
Sure.
conversations like that as well.
Yeah.
Did you,
oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, did you get much feedback on your art from any of the celebrities and other guests?
I did. I was, because I was running around and giving barf bags. I have my barf bag business cards and prints. I gave prints to all the cast of Terrifier. They all loved them. And Tom Atkins, who was awesome, and I bumped into him dozens of times over the weekend. I ran over at one point and gave him a barf bag and my Halloween 3 sticker and a Halloween 3 pin. And he's like, oh my God, this is awesome. And and usually, when you and you're not like jumping up and down and being a goofy fanboy, and you have a conversation with them and talk to them like a person, they're cool and they're willing to, and say, hey, Tom, can I get a picture with you? Would that be rude? And so he's, oh, absolutely. And, taking pictures with everybody and loving it. Damian Leone loved my print. David Howard Thornton really loved it. The little girl, the pale girl, Emily McLean, she was all excited. Lauren, when I gave her a print, because I gave Elliot a print first, and then I went and gave her one the next day, and she was like, oh my God, I saw you gave him one and I was jealous and I didn't get one. So she was glad that I gave her one of my prints. They were all just great people. And Dee Wallace was there. Dee is awesome.
Oh, she's so sweet.
I saw her the first day and I'm like, hello, Dee. And she turned around and looked at me and she went, and I said, Crypticon. And she went, Seattle. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh my God, I love you. And she ran over and gave me a big hug. She remembered me. And then on the way out on Sunday, I saw her again. I was like, so nice seeing you again. And she ran over and gave me another hug and let me take a picture with her. And, just nice people. I love them all. We're like family. The horror community is like family. It's great.
It is. Yep. Exactly.
Clint Howard showed up as a surprise on Sunday. None of us were expecting that. And that was awesome because he's going to be in Terrifier 3. It's just been he's in the movie now. Just been announced, and he had a picture from Rock and Roll High School there, which the last time I saw him at Crypticon, he had no Rock and Roll High School stuff. And I'm like, Clint, why don't you have Rock and Roll High School? He goes, well, who would buy it? I said, I would. So I was that thrilled to see that he had an Eagle Bauer picture there, so I had to grab one of those.
Yeah, it's a classic movie. You actually didn't you do some art for that convention?
I did a t-shirt design for the show, and that came from the Crypticon thing. When they saw the shirt that I did for Crypticon this year, they contacted me and said, hey, we love that shirt you did for Crypticon. You want to do a shirt for us? I'm like, absolutely. So I did a design, and that's usually I try and stay at conventions nearby. I hadn't been to Southern California in 20 years. I used to live down there, and it's been 20 years since I've been down there. I said, well, if I did the shirt design, I better go down there and promote it and promote myself. And so I went down. I'm glad I did. I had a blast. They're going to do another CreepyCon in last week of January, first week of February. And I definitely am planning on going back.
Heck yeah. They're going to have you as a guest again, or are you going to?
I am working on it. I said, hey, if you want me to do more art, I am here and ready. And I saw probably a dozen or more people wandering around the show wearing that shirt. So it sold really well. I went over and checked the final day and they said, yeah, we sold a lot of them. So that's good. If there was a giant bin of my shirts sitting there, that would have been a bad sign. But
Yeah, but
people were buying them.
I feel like I seen you posting pictures of them and stuff, so it looked like people were into it. So that's
Yes,
cool. That's
it
cool.
was great. Yeah, it's I was set up next to Eric Fox. I don't know if you remember him from Face Off a few
I do.
seasons
Yeah, he's
ago.
one of the.
And he always did the really cool gross gory stuff on Face Off, so I always enjoyed watching. And he was set up right next to me, and so we had a blast hanging out and sat next to the guy for 3 days and didn't get a picture with him, which I'm like, why didn't I get a picture with him? But we're communicating through Facebook and Instagram now. So his wife or girlfriend, I can't remember which she is, her parents live in Spokane. So
wow.
there's a very good chance that I can get them to come up for Halloween Expo next year, and he can be the makeup effects demo guy at Halloween Expo next year. That's in the works.
Cool. That's another cool thing about these shows.
About that. Yeah.
That's another good thing about these shows is just like networking with these people and making stuff like that happen, which
Absolutely. And then like when I was talking to Tom Atkins, I was like, you need to come to Crypticon. He was like, I've never been there. And so I got a hold of, Steve, and he was like, yeah, he was here in 2009. I was like, yeah, it was a long time ago. He doesn't remember. But let's get Tom Atkins back up there. He's been since 2009. We need to get him back. He's friggin' awesome. Guy's a legend.
either Crypticon or even Halloween Expo.
Halloween Expo, yes.
That'd be a good one.
Yes, I was trying to get Barbara Crampton to come over for Halloween Expo so we could have a Kelly Maroney Barbara Crampton shopping mall reunion.
Ooh, yeah.
Barbara didn't respond to me, so not going to happen. Maybe next year.
Yeah,
because she was
Kelly's
a great
cool though.
Kelly's awesome too. I love her
Kelly
too.
is so sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing her again.
Yeah, she's great.
So I guess we might as well start talking about Halloween Expo then, kind of
Let's do it.
segue into that. So last year you were one of the featured artists. How did you feel about the show as a whole?
It was great. I had a blast. The guest list was awesome again. We had Naomi Grossman and Nico Hughes and Matthew Patrick Davis was there, and I had something to do with that because I had met him at Crypticon earlier, and I got a hold of Nathan. I said, Nathan, you got to get this guy. He's awesome. And I love Barbarian. A lot of people hate it. I love it.
I loved it.
I love Barbarian. So I got this dude's like 7'2". He's an awesome guy. He's got a milk baby bottle with a hair on it. We got to get this guy. And so Nathan did get him. And then when we got him at the show and Nathan told him, he's like, yeah, Chad recommended you. And I told him, I said, so if you're having a good time, you're welcome. But if you're having a bad time, I'm sorry. But he had a good time. Naomi Grossman was the biggest sweetheart. I did a print of her and she came over and loved it. And I drew another picture of her and sent it to her because we had become friends at that show. And then she posted all over Facebook and Instagram the picture that I sent her hanging in her bedroom. She hung it in her bedroom above her mirror. She loved it so much. And that was cool. I like that because I love pinheads, and Naomi Grossman. I love her. And it was just great. It was fun. Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good about her and her
She's
interactions,
awesome.
and fans love her. And
yeah.
That's cool.
So the guests were great. The crowd was great. It was in a smaller area last year, but we had such a good turnout. It was busy both days, great. And this year we're going to be over in the main room in the convention center where we normally have the Lilac City Comic Con. So it's going to be bigger, better. It'll be just like everything else. It's going to grow bigger, better every year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the guest list is amazing. It's like
on the
level with Crypticon and like some of these other bigger shows.
I did hear. I don't know if you heard, but Eric Roberts had to drop out.
He dropped out, but he brought in a couple cool replacements for Eric, and name escapes me. Lady from Nightmare on Elm Street to Kim.
Oh yeah.
Kim Myers. Kim Myers. That's what it was. She dropped out and Eric dropped out, but they brought in Russ Hodgkinson, who is a really cool dude. I don't know if you ever met him. He was on Z Nation.
Oh yeah,
He's
he's
Doc.
he's
Yeah,
yeah, he's
he's
there just
awesome.
about every year.
Yeah, he's a good dude. And what is her name from The Crow?
But by some yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, Bailing. Yeah,
By Ling.
she's a cool, interesting
Yeah,
guest that we don't get much up here. So
yeah.
I think
Nice,
I think
nice
I
mix
think
of
he did.
yes.
I think he did pretty good replacing him. And then of
Yeah.
course the other guest, V Neil, like legend, absolute legend. Like how
I
can you not be
actually
excited about her?
I'm really looking forward to seeing her again because I worked with her 30 plus years ago on the Batman films.
Okay.
It was people from her department came to where I was working and said, we need some masks made, just make them look weird or creepy little masks. So me and the guy I was working with, we made these little face masks with hook noses and, furrowed brows and made them out of thermoplastic. And they ended up in the movie. Of course, they had been embellished and repainted and things. And then I saw her later, and after the movie had come out, I said, yeah, I saw one of the masks I made in the movie. And she was like, oh no, I made those. I was like, well, I made it, but you made it better. You painted it and added things to it. So, but yeah, it was cool. That it was a scene where Robin was in the alley fighting the street gang and whatever, that one with Val Kilmer, Forever, I think, Batman Forever.
Right. Yeah.
And the street gang was wearing these little masks. And yeah, I had made the bases for those, and then they were embellished by V Neil and her crew. So that was fun. And I also worked on Batman Returns with her, and I think she was on that one. But yeah, I made more masks for the ballroom scene where the penguin came up and the giant duck in the middle of the ballroom. A lot of those
Right.
masks in the background, I had worked on those also.
Oh, nice. So were you at that point in LA or something
Yes. I moved to Los Angeles in 1990, and I lived down there until 2003. I'm originally from Spokane. 2003 rolled around. I was just burned out and tired of paying ridiculous amount of money for rent every month. And I said, ooh, houses in Spokane are cheap. I never leave my house anyway. I work in my basement. Came back up here, and God, I've been here for 20 years now.
Right. And now rents are expensive everywhere. So
Now I'm glad I did get here when I did, because I was able to
got in
purchase
here in
my
time.
house.
Yeah.
I purchased my house fairly cheap, and my house is like quadrupled or more in value. And yeah, my taxes are higher, but my taxes are still less than what most people are paying for rent a month. So I'm happy with that. Yes.
That's fair. Is there anybody else you're personally excited about seeing at the Halloween Expo?
I am really excited about seeing Kelly Maroney again, because she's great. And I know it's rude, but the kid from Chucky, what's his name?
Alex Vincent.
Alex Vincent. He's very cool. I like him. Looking forward to seeing him again. Tom Matthews, I've never met, so I'm a huge fan of the Return of the Living Dead. So that's going to be fun.
Classic. He seems like a nice guy. He was on our last episode.
I just listened to that. I listened to that
Yeah.
this morning. Him and Leatherface from the 2003.
Right.
Yeah.
He's another. I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Yeah.
But he just seems like a cool dude. Just
yeah. And because Texas Chainsaw is one of my all-time favorites, and I normally would hate remakes, but every once in a while they get it right, and that was one where they got it right. That one and Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead. Yes. I love those, but I love the originals more. But those I really love. But some remakes, just like, why did you even bother with this?
Yeah, the good ones are few and far between. Like I think of like the Evil Dead remake was decent.
That was good.
I enjoyed that. I did kind of enjoy the Dawn of the Dead remake.
That was fun. That was fun.
That was like the only good thing he did, but that's a whole nother conversation too.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a fan of his work, but
mm-hmm.
There's a few good remakes out there. Sure, there's others, but October 5th and 6th, Spokane. Hopefully, people listening are coming out to hang out with us, and you'll have a lot of. What kind of stuff are you going to have at your table?
I'm gonna have my usual. If you've seen me at Crypticon or any other show, I'm gonna have my T-shirts and my stickers and my prints and my original art, resin cast sculptures that I've made, original artwork, a little bit of everything, whatever I can bring. Like last weekend at CreepyCon or Creep IE, we calling it Creep IE Con. Sorry, I had I was limited to what I could bring because I only could bring like 2 suitcases, of course, and I didn't want to ship stuff down and ship it back. So, but I still brought a lot of stuff with me. This one I'll have a lot more stuff with me because it's a 10-minute drive from my house, so I'll be able to bring more things down. But I'll have more of an assortment of shirts and stickers and prints and yeah, just my usual fun swag and original art if you're interested.
And maybe a special print like you mentioned earlier.
I'm going to have some themed prints for the show. I'm working on finishing one up today. It's going to be like a Night of the Comet shopping mall double feature print featuring Kelly and Barbara is going to be on there too, of course, since I tried so hard to get her here and she's not, but she'll be on there too. But I'll do like Night of the Comet shopping mall collage type of thing going on. And I've got a Chucky idea that is almost done also. I'm going to have all these done and ready for the show. We've got 10 days. I can do it.
It's a big undertaking, but
yeah,
sounds like you got it. You're a busy guy, and it sounds like you get a lot done fast. So
I do. I drink a lot of coffee and I draw a lot of monsters. So yeah. And I don't have any looming deadlines with tops right now. Usually that's the thing. It's like, oh, I want to get this and this and this done, but I also have to draw 100 sketch cards for the next Garbage Pail Kids set, and they want them in 4 days. I'm like,
Yep. Yeah. Also got to pay the bills, so
yes,
you got to take care of that stuff. But yeah, coffee and monsters.
Yes.
So is there any kind of, I guess, related, but near the convention center, are there any good spots we should check out for coffee or grub or anything?
I don't get out much. I tend to stay home a lot, so I don't know what the best places are. But there are a lot of good restaurants around the area. There's some pretty sketchy areas there. People are afraid. Oh, don't go there, don't go there. But yeah, you live over in Seattle, so you know how this works, right? You're in Seattle, right?
I'm in Port Townsend.
Okay.
But I grew up in cities and I spent enough time in
cities. There's certain areas you want to steer away from, but when people say, "Oh my God, Spokane's horrible," it's like I lived in Hollywood for 8 years, and I had a helicopter flying above my apartment every night, and 3 dead bodies were found out behind my apartment. I mean, I've seen it all. It can be bad, but it's bad everywhere. So
it's just knowing where to not put your nose. You know what I mean? Just. Right. You got to be kind of smart, and you can be safe for the most part.
Watch your back.
Bad shit happens everywhere.
It does happen everywhere. So, but yeah, there's some great restaurants downtown there that are nearby. If you're not into the chain things like Chili's or whatever, but there's some good, locally owned bars, restaurants around there that are nice. And it's not really, Spokane's a nice city. We've got a nice park and the river running through it and everything. And then we got the bad areas, but it's cool. Depends on what you're looking for, and best thing to do is to run up that Google map and run up restaurants or whatever you're looking for and read the reviews and see where. That's what I do when I go out of town. It's like, oh, this one it doesn't look so good. And I always look for the good pizza. I'm a pizza fan. So.
Oh yeah, pizza is the way to go. But yeah, it sounds like it's a cool town, and it sounds like there's a lot of vendors from that area are going to be at the Halloween Xspo. And are there any you're familiar with that you personally dig?
Yeah, there's several local artists that are going to be there. I think two of the guest artists that are being promoted as guests that did T-shirt designs are Katara Gotham, Katara. I don't know how you say her name. Gotham Bree. She used to be Bree, but now she's Katara. Brian something, I can't think of his name. I think, but he's going to be doing some. I'm horrible with names. I'm sorry. The King family. Yeah, King family is going to be there, which every year we've always done the King family haunted house where we put on a big elaborate show, or they put up a big elaborate show and I put on a mask and yell at people. But this year we're not doing that we're not doing it, but they're going to have some kind of special deal going at some kind of walkthrough, I believe. So that's going to be good. And they do great artwork too with their little monster stuff. And I'm sure there's so many people I'm forgetting, but yeah, lots of great locals. Some great people from out of town are coming in that I've met over at shows on that side of the state are coming over. So it's going to be a great time.
It's going to be a blast. There's all the info you could find and guests and vendors and stuff on HalloweenXspo.com. It's Halloween Xspo.com. And of course, the links are always going to be in the show notes.
Yes, and it's XSPO, like it's Spokane SPO.
What about you? Do you have a website or good social media spots where people can follow you?
I used to have a website, but nobody looked at it, and it was, a pain to maintain it. So everybody goes to Facebook anyway. So if you just type in my name, which is hard to spell, Scheres, in any search, it'll all pop up. But yeah, it's facebook.com/toyghoul, which was a nickname I was given by a bartender many, many years ago. She called me a toy ghoul, and I said, "Oh, that sounds good. Well, just call me that." And then on Instagram, I'm just at C Scheres, which is CSCHERES. But like I said, if you just go into a search and type in my name, it all pops up. Facebook and Instagram is where I do all my posting, and because that's where everybody's at. That's where everybody sees it.
Yeah, and of course you post all your appearances and stuff you're working on, and there's a lot of fun pictures of you from Creep by Econ with all the Terrifier people and stuff, so that's exciting.
I was amazed at how many selfies I was able to get just from conversation with them, just from talking to them like they're normal people, and and then getting those, and were great. And Clint Howard, Tom Atkins, Henry Thomas, D. Wallace, the Terrifier guys. It was just nice, great to meet them all. Really cool. Now, do you like the Terrifier movies? Because a lot of people don't.
I do. I love the Terrifier movies. Yeah.
A lot of people don't like them, and that's fine. You can have that opinion, but I think they're just not getting it. There's no plot. It's like watching a cartoon with a lot of there's a clown and people die. There you go. It's fun.
I think I could be mistaken, but I think I caught wind of one of the Expo guests might have a small little role in Terrifier 3.
Really?
John Abrahams. I think he might have a small. I might have seen something posted. Don't quote me on that. Don't.
Now, but remind me, who is he and what has he done? And I'll know.
He's done. I think he was in like The Faculty and I think one of the scary movies.
Okay.
Some other stuff. Like I'm not super familiar with him.
I'm not either.
I've scary seen movie, The House of Wax remake, which.
The coolest thing about that movie was, it had nothing to do with the original Vincent Price House of Wax. But the coolest thing about that movie was that the house was actually made of wax. And I thought that was kind of cool. It wasn't a house with wax figures in it. It was a wax house.
Literally a house of wax.
But it was basically Tourist Trap with a wax house in it is what that movie was, I thought. But
yeah, he is listed on the Halloween Xspo site.
Awesome.
As appearing in Terrifier 3. So we got
awesome
Terrifier 3 actors at the show too.
I love it. And I had I was fortunate enough, I had Damian Leone sign some blank sketch cards for me at the show. So I'm going to be drawing Art the Clown on them, and I have his authentic signature on the sketch card. And I was glad that he did that. And I told him, I says, I promise I'm not going to draw pictures of you doing anything wrong. And we started making perverted jokes about monkeys and things, but we don't want to talk about that. But yeah, I'll be drawing pictures of Art the Clown, so those will be coming soon with his authentic signature on there. And yeah, my mind is still reeling from the weekend. It was just a whirlwind. The after party was awesome. There was a band called the Nightmare on 80s Street, I think is what they were called. They played all 80s. It was an 80s cover band, but they were all wearing they had Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees and Pinhead, and Hannibal Lecter played drums. And it was fun. If they weren't all dressed up, I would go, this is a cool 80s band, 80s cover band. But the fact that they were all wearing these horror icon outfits, and they were showing scenes from The Shining and Reanimator and everything behind them on a movie screen. That was a lot of fun. It was a blast.
Yeah. Cool gimmick. Cool gimmick.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, though. Entertainment's all cool gimmicks.
Yes.
But yeah. So everybody, come to the Halloween Expo, October 5th and 6th, Spokane Convention Center. We're gonna have a good time. Chad's gonna be there. A whole bunch of legends from some of your favorite horror movies are gonna be there. Ton of vendors. You mentioned there's gonna be like the little haunt walkthrough thing. Uh, there's gonna be people there with comic books. There's gonna be people there with curio oddity stuff.
Yes, my friends from Petunia and Loomis are going to be there with all their curios and oddities, and taxidermy specimens, things like that. They're great people. My friend Travis Knott will be there with tons of comic books and Fangoria, Gore Zone, all the classic horror. And he's actually got a special guest in his booth. I can't think of the guy's name, but he worked a lot on The Simpsons. And he did an exclusive print that they will be selling in his booth too at the expo.
Very cool. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
like
So
I said, I'm horrible,
basically,
but it's one of those famous guys that worked on The Simpsons, and I can't think of his name right off. But
so there's going to be something for everybody there. It is a family friendly event, so that's important. Bring the kids out. Just bring the whole family. Come hang out. Make sure to swing by Chad's table. Check out his art. Pick up.
yes, please come and
stickers
say
and a
hi.
t-shirt.
Yeah, you get a free barf bag with any purchase. And also I give out free autographs and free selfies, whether you buy anything or not, because who am I? I don't care. I'm just glad that you're there. And if you want to come and say hi and want to get a picture taken with me, I'm not going to tell you no. And I'm not going to charge you $100 for an autograph, because I think that's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
And
That's
nobody
wild.
did that anyway.
That's wild. But Chad, thank you for hanging out, man. We'll definitely do this again, and we'll talk more. I want to hear more about the Ed Roth stuff down the road.
Definitely.
Sounds
I could talk
fascinating.
all day.
For sure. Awesome.
As you can tell, I'm a talker.
That's fine. Somebody got to do it. I'm not the talker. It's weird. I have a podcast, but I'm not the talker.
It is a strange thing, but you're good. You're talking. You're a good host.
See, I like to set you guys up, and my whole thing is to promote the creators. People don't want to hear me. They want to hear you guys tell us what you do.
Well, no, I love your show. I appreciate everything that you do. I love that you're promoting Halloween Expo. I love that you promote Crypticon. I mean, those are my family. Like I was saying, everybody at Crypticon over the past 3 years has become like family to me. All the fellow Crypticon artists, Nick DeHat and Robert Buchta, and I think I said his name right. And, Chris Lebrenz, who comes down from Canada, amazing artists. Tim from Cast of a Thousands. Love D, love Steve, love Troy, love what's Troy's wife's name? I'm horrible with names. Yeah.
Not sure I've met her.
Mickey. Mickey is Troy's wife. Yes, I love them all. Great people. And love Nathan. Love Nathan's wife. Love everybody here at Halloween Expo. I'm just full of love today. I can't help it. When it comes to horror, I just become full of love.
It's what you think. You think horror, you think blood and gore, and you think love.
Yeah, we're family. It's all great.
Exactly. That's what I always tell people. Every year, Crypticon every year is like a reunion. It's like
it is, and it's a family reunion, and it's great. Yeah. I was talking to more name dropping. I was talking to Bob something, I can't remember his name, but he's the manager of Damien Leone and David Howard Thornton from Terrifier, trying to get them to come up to Crypticon, and they were into it. They're like, oh yeah, we'd love to come. And so I was talking to him, and he said something like, well, I heard Crypticon sucks. And I said, well, you heard wrong. And I said, and if you heard that, it's, there's more than one Crypticon, and I'm not saying the other Crypticon sucks. I've never been there. I'm sure it's awesome. But I reassured him. I said, no, Crypticon Seattle does not suck. You guys need to come up. Because remember, it was 2019 when David Howard Thornton was at Crypticon, and nobody knew who he was. Do you remember that? Yeah, and he had, he did good that weekend, but it wasn't like, I think there was like a 3-hour wait at CreepyCon for him to get his autograph.
Yeah.
And he didn't have that because no one had seen Terrifier yet.
Right. Now,
but I'm
like the main,
I was working really hard, and I think what happened is those two have another show that weekend, but we still have Catherine Corcoran and Elliot Fulham and Lauren Lavera and the other Emily McLean, all the other cast members. I'm working. I'm suggesting Crypticon Seattle. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's I've been thinking for the last couple of years. Crypticon needs to Terrifier people, or Halloween Expo if they could do it,
and Halloween Expo.
And
I know that Nathan from Halloween Expo in Spokane was trying to get Clint Howard to come this year, and now of course we're too late and it didn't work out. But I was bugging Clint Howard on Sunday. Hey, Spokane Halloween Expo, come on next year.
Always
next year. Yeah.
You
know, and I saw, you know who Sean Clark is. You know, he's and every time I bumped into him over the weekend, I was like, Crypticon Seattle Halloween Expo, come on. Come on, let's do it. You know, let's get some of those guests over there. We need it.
For sure. Yeah, he has quite a stable of guests.
Oh my God, he's got
clients. He's got everybody.
He's got like tons of musicians now too on his roster.
Yeah, I know he's been doing stuff for like Ozzy and like
Scott Ian and Carrie King. What Carrie King's doing horror cons now or whatever. I mean, it's weird.
That's kind of weird to me because he's not a very friendly person.
Oh, he's not.
I've met him.
Tom is. I met Tom once, and Tom was awesome.
Yeah.
And I actually insulted him, and I feel bad to it to this day. I said, "Geez, Tom, I thought you'd be taller or something like that," and he was offended by that. So shit, I'm sorry. But
he's losing sleep every night because
I'm sure that he remembers me insulting him 35 years ago.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, yeah, one last time, Halloween Expo, HalloweenXpo.com, October 5th and 6th, Spokane. We will see you guys there.
And don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm posting updates all the time on what I'm doing. What new Garbage Pail Kids sets are coming out, what new Wacky Packages sets are coming out, whatever I'm working on with Tops. Tops just took over the license for Marvel and Pixar, and they already have Star Wars, so I'll probably be doing some of that stuff maybe. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, and any questions about anything, I respond to all my messages, you guys. So if you ever want to, you know, just say, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see how your Marvel stuff turned out. So,
absolutely, I'm looking forward to that too. That'll be because it was a different thing for me, not my usual thing. So yeah, it was a challenge, something different and new. Got to do something different once in a while.
That's a good thing. That's a good
thing.
Well, with that being said, Chad Scheres, thank you for hanging out, man, and I'll let you get back to your day.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing all you guys at Halloween Expo in 10 days. I believe it's 10 days.
10 days from now, but by the time we release this, it'll be even closer. So you guys need to hurry up and get tickets. It's crunch time.
Get your tickets because I'm pretty sure it's going to sell out on Saturday. I am I can't guarantee that it will, but I am positive and hoping it will.
All right, man. We will see you soon.
All right.
Greetings, it is I, Lilith Von Bloodworth from Mondo Creepy. You're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show.
Hello, podcast listeners. This is Halloween of the Halloween Horror Hour, Seattle's Scariety show. We bring you independent short films, music videos, and the history of Halloween. You can find us on Channel 28 in Seattle, or you can join us on YouTube at Halloween Horror Hour. So don't miss a scare. Watch if you dare. We have such shorts to show you.
And we're back. Thank you once again to Chad Scheres for being on the show. And we will see you very soon at an upcoming convention. Now, I want to mention some new friends that we have. Another great company that we met recently by the name of Crypto Zoo Tees. Now, these guys
interesting name, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. These guys have wonderful designs. Like I checked out their stuff last week and it's really cool. You can go to cryptozootees.com and check out the variety of t-shirts, hats, hoodies, footwear, home decor, and so much more. Again, that's cryptozootees.com. If you don't know how to spell it, just look at our page and you'll probably see my full name around somewhere. And then just add tees.com to it. And there you go. There's the website. Um, and I want you guys to remember it's always Halloween at the Crypto Zoo. So you don't have to worry if it's April, May, June, whatever. Go over there, cryptozootees.com, and pick out something and sport it. Take a picture of it and tell them that Steven Crypto sent you.
You have so much in common with them. It's kind of weird. It's always Halloween, same name. I like it. It's
Right.
fitting.
Yeah.
Perfect fit. Perfect fit. So yeah.
Perfect fit, just like their t-shirts.
Nice. Well done. Well played. So we just talked with Chad. We heard the interview. Talked about Halloween Expo. Where last episode we also promoted Halloween Expo with Tom and Brett, great guests. But the Halloween Expo does take place October 5th and 6th at the Convention Center in Spokane, Washington. You can get tickets at halloweenexpo.com. It's going to be an awesome convention. There's a couple changes. Dude from Chucky, Andy, Alex Vincent had to cancel his appearance, but they added somebody, I believe, from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Oh, really?
So that's you could go to Halloween Expo, that's spelled XSPO.com, and see all the great guests on there, including like Kelly Maroney and us and Brett Wagner and Tom Matthews and Chad Scheres and just Nick Benson, V. Neil from Beetlejuice, and all those amazing. There's so many good guests. There's way too many to name and think of off the top of my head. But so the website, HalloweenExpo.com. Go there, get your tickets, get all the details, and let's get to our chat with Nick Benson now. He's a effects artist. He's done a ton of things. Like if you were a fan of horror in the mid to late 80s, you probably saw something that he'd worked on. But
Definitely.
he's going to tell us about it. So meet Nick Benson and then come meet him in Spokane next weekend. It's coming close, coming soon.
Hey, this is Butch Patrick, and you're listening to the Steven Crypto Show.
Hey, Steve and Crypto Show listeners, and hopefully Halloween Expo attendees. We have another guest, another celebrity guest from the convention here joining us on the show to tell us about themselves and hype up the convention. So we have Nick Benson. He is an effects artist, and I think he's done directing, producing, just basically everything you could do in the film industry he's done. And he's known for classics like Tremors, the Blob remake, Bride of Reanimator and Society, the two Brian Usna classics, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, just a ton of amazing things. So let's just dig right in. And how did you get started on your journey as a effects artist?
Well, it's kind of a weird story because I actually started out as an apprentice film editor. And right out of high school, my whole family, let me kind of back up even a little bit more. My family was in the business for years. My mom was an executive with Universal. My stepfather was an editor in the business, and he had been nominated for Academy Awards and some things like that. So I kind of lived my whole childhood through the business anyway, which was weird because, as a teenager and everything, I wanted to become a musician. And I started learning guitar when I was like, I don't know, 11 or 12. And became a musician and literally left home at like 17 and moved to Hollywood and was playing in bands and stuff. And I was working in the industry. I just didn't have anything quite that serious. I was doing apprentice film editing jobs, and I was working as an assistant and apprentice film editor. Then I also got a job at a sound studio working, doing different things, sound effects and stuff like that for film. And during that time, my band was playing at night, and I somehow managed to cross paths with a guy when I needed a place to rent an apartment. And this guy wanted to play in a band with me. And his other roommate was Steve Johnson. And his brother was Kevin Brennan. So two guys from Boss Film were living in his house, and he had another room for rent, and I rented the other room. And that's literally how I kind of fell into effects, because it was just a couple of conversations about wanting to do theatrical stuff on stage with Steve, and I started asking about how to do things, would I do this, would I do that, and I just feel like he was like, this guy knows what he's doing. So he said, well, why don't literally one night in a conversation said, why don't you just come make rubber monsters for me? I was just kind of like, and get paid? Are you serious?
Yeah.
So that's literally how I got into effects. And he hired me after he left Boss, and he was starting a film called Night of the Demons, which I'm sure you know. Which now at the 35th anniversary, myself and I Batworks did some collector masks for that.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so that's how I got started. I kind of zigged when I should have zagged, and landed on my feet in a job I never thought I'd have.
So besides music, did you have any other art background? Did you like draw, or did you paint or something before?
Yeah, I mean, I did art and different types of art classes throughout school. I mean, I did the typical art thing in high school and whatnot. I had art classes, but I also did. I was doing like architectural type classes in CAD when you were literally doing that stuff by hand, not on a computer. Where you had big drafting tables and were drawing this stuff by hand. So that's kind of where the art side of it got started for me.
So you went from
in
that
high
to
school and stuff, I
making
actually
monsters.
did. Yeah, to making monsters.
Yeah,
But I
it
did
kind
used to
of
deface.
correlates.
I
Yeah.
did used to deface a lot of things and draw a lot of pictures that my mom got really concerned about me in school, and just turned different things into creatures. And still, my mom was always like, "What are you doing?" And then when I went to work for Steve, she was like, "Okay, now it all makes sense."
Now you're getting money, and now it makes sense.
Yeah.
So what were some when you first started getting into it, besides Steve, when you first started getting into the effects stuff, what did you have any other influences, or was it just like you
Oh,
didn't know anything
absolutely.
about it and dove in?
Yeah, artistically, like I said, I was drawing and doing stuff, and I've always been very into art. And I just never thought I was that good of an artist. And when Steve saw something in me and the things I was doing, that I felt like, okay, well, I have a chance. So, but I had inspiration from Bosch and Dolly, and those are all things that actually got me working with Screaming Mad George. Was that a lot of my artistic influences, musically, painting, sculpturally, all of those things were in line with things that he liked. So that was how I got involved with Screaming Mad George.
Right. So throughout your career, like I mentioned at the top, you've been involved in a ton of classics, especially for horror fans. Are there
Yeah.
any what are some of the more notable things that you had direct hands on creating that people might recognize?
Well, if you're a Usenet fan, for sure, there's a lot of stuff I did in Society. Specifically Ferguson, almost everything on Ferguson was done by me, including the inside out body. I worked with Dave. Gosh, I can't think of his last name right now. It escapes me. On the Butthead, I sculpted part of the Judge in the shunting, but that was kind of a. I can't say that I take credit for design work because George was really the head of creating the entire that whole ending shunting sequence and most of the what was supposed to happen. He had sketches, but he gave me a lot of artistic license with how to do the stuff for my makeups and the inside out body on Ferguson. But the shunting sequence overall, like he had already designed that. But the way we did that was I think we had 2 weeks to sculpt all that. And it was full scale. You've seen how big that end sequence is. They're the biggest.
yeah.
It's like the world's largest puppet show. But
Yeah.
those things at scale were thousands of pounds of clay and armatures and stuff like that. And George blocked it out. Like George would block all of those out, and then I would go in behind him and keep adding detail, and he would come back around. It was like we followed each other through that whole thing, and then I would take, once he was finished and was happy with each piece, I would cut it away from the rest of it and mold each piece. And I did, I handled the molds and all that stuff so that they could all be put back together again on that set. So that's there's a lot of, I had my hand in a lot of stuff in Society.
I heard that with that whole scene was just a wild situation
Yeah.
with so much happening. I have a buddy locally here. He's retired up here. He was he was like an assistant camera guy or something on that film and on Bride of Reanimator and some other stuff. But yeah,
Right.
he kind of told me stories about how wild it was, and set was fun, but it was long days, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it was like
Some
everybody pitched in on everything. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the days working in the film business is just, I mean, anybody that works in it, even independent stuff like, 16, 18, 20-hour days, it's grueling sometimes. Other pieces like, I don't know, like Dead Heat, for instance, like there's the two bank robbers in the beginning of Dead Heat. I did the dummies for those and did their deaths. Trying to think. Howling 4 was like a team of a lot of people, so I didn't have any specific makeups in that. We were just all working on all of them. Me mostly on the wolf, but there was, Steve sculpted it. We fabricated an entire suit and, animatronics inside the head and all kinds of stuff. But mostly I worked more on the wolf than anything else, but there's a few transformation pieces that I worked on in that. I think Nightmare on Elm Street 4 was, I worked for both shops. I worked for Steve and George on Nightmare on Elm Street 4. The cockroach transformation with George and crew. There was like 5 or 6 of us there. And Freddy's death for Steve. So those are specific from that. Blob, I was all over the place. I'm actually in the Blob, and I'm the theater Blob. I'm the sewer Blob. I had puppeteers with me, but I was the lead on a couple of shots, and I helped design how that Blob came out of the sink, and and just I was just all over the place on Blob.
Nice. That's So have you been working steady since those days, or
No, not steady. I sort of got out of the industry in I want to say 1990. I moved to Nevada, got married, had kids, did that kind of thing. And like, I don't know. I don't know why. I probably shouldn't have left LA, but I left LA, and that kind of, I did some music video work and I did some other work, had my hand in a couple of things here and there over the next couple of years. I wound up producing a bunch of stuff when I moved. Instead of doing effects work, the effects work wasn't such a huge thing. And then I started doing, since I was in Nevada, I started doing like themed environment type stuff, some animatronics, some not, some static. Did video work, lots of miscellaneous things, but it wasn't like the film industry. It was very different. And then let's see, sort of got back or came back to it in, I want to say, probably late 2000s. I started getting more involved in more film projects again. I have a stack of different scripts that I'm producing, as well as a couple of those I want to direct, and we're looking for financing, that kind of thing. So those are in the kitty, and I did a film in 2023 that was a thriller with the director Asif Akbar. Mel Gibson's in it, 50 Cent's in it. It's called Boneyard. Did that. That's an action thriller based on a true crime. So yeah, I mean, I've worked off and on through the years. I did a music video in 2019 for Slipknot with Steve Johnson again. That was fun. But yeah, I've been in and out of it ever since. It's just not been, once I moved from LA, it wasn't like always working.
Right. That's where most of the work was at that time.
Excuse me.
And I was scrolling through, you mentioned Slipknot video. I was scrolling through your IMDb. Did I see something that you worked on a Fat Boys video?
Yes. Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
So you did the video for the, okay.
Yeah, they did a song for it, and
yep.
I mean, honestly, working on it there was effects in it and stuff that I worked on, but at the same time, it's just kind of funny because Mick Strawn, the production designer, and we're still really good friends. Everybody from that movie, we're all still really close. But the funny thing from that movie is when we did the video, Mick tells the story way better than I do, but we had to take turns babysitting the Fat Boys because those guys just were constantly getting in trouble. So,
yeah, I feel like they were probably
the babysitter and occasionally an effects guy on that video.
Babies. So you got 2 paychecks for that one, right?
Yeah, kind of.
That's funny. That was. I was scrolling through and I saw that was like a blast from my childhood. Like, oh, the Fat Boys. I haven't thought about them in years.
Yeah,
that's cool, man.
They were hilarious. They were trouble.
Yeah, I bet. What did you do on the Slipknot video? Did you just work on like
makeup effects? Yeah, there's actually Sean Crahan, our clown, directed all of that, but it's a short film called Pollution, and then the middle part of that is the actual music video that Warner Brothers released for Nero Forte. And it's I think I hired 15 girls that we put in these pod people kind of costume, or I don't know, they were like pods, and then they were covered in slime and all kinds of weird stuff. It's very weird and unique. It's all Steve Johnson's designs. And he did a lot of R&D in Los Angeles, and then brought me in when he shot everything in Vegas, and I got the sound. I helped get the sound stage and get everything done. Hired a crew up there, so yeah, it was fun. It's a fun video.
Did you have to babysit the Slipknot guys like the Fat Boys,
those guys were
a little more pro?
Super professional, super cool. Corey was fun. But those guys are they know what they need. They know what they need to do, and they do it. And I have to be honest, like, for something that I expected to be kind of out of hand, it was probably one of the smoothest productions I've done, even considering all the problems that we sort of had getting it going, So
Would have probably been, I mean, you had your hands on a bunch of iconic scenes and creations and stuff. What's probably been, and this is a tough question to answer, but what's probably been your like proudest
my
creation?
proudest?
Yeah.
That's kind of tough to say, because like each experience is pretty unique, and it's interesting. The cool thing about effects is it seems like you can always learn something else, or you can always figure out a new way to do something different, and it's never the same. So I kind of like doing effects for that reason, because it's a very think on your feet and super creative kind of thing to work in, and it's great to work with fellow effects artists, and it's like a big collaboration to make things happen, which I love that.
Basically just the process and completing
Yeah,
something is your proudest
it's
thing,
tough
right?
to pick a favorite, because they were all like,
Yeah.
even on Tremors, like all I had to do with on that was really the one-to-one heads, but those are like the big worms are pretty. There's a couple of pretty good scenes in that movie that use those big one-to-one heads, and that's pretty proud thing. That's a pretty cool thing to be proud of, right?
That's
Um,
for sure, for
but,
sure.
but each thing is different, because I have such fond memories from each film, in doing them, and then going and like going to the screening or the parties, and seeing our like, filmmaking in general is like a huge collaborative art. So it's all these people then that are professionals in their own part of that filmmaking, and you go and you see a finished piece, and you look at it and you go, wow, we made this. I can't fucking believe we did that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I love it so much.
Do you recall that first time you saw your creation on screen? Like that
Yeah.
feeling? Like what was that? What was that like?
Um, I don't know. It's hard to describe the feeling, but it's nervous but excited. I don't know. It's the first time I saw something I did on screen, I wanted to hurl, but it's not out of being disgusted by it. It's more about like, oh my God, this is out there.
Yeah. Those emotions
And
boil
and
over.
for like, my first film was Night of the Demons, and for a film I didn't think would do anything, people loved it. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that box art in the video store.
yeah.
That's iconic, iconic. So you mentioned you have some scripts and stuff in the work now. Is there anything um that you're literally working on right now, or are you just kind of doing the convention stuff and hanging
I'm
out?
right now. I'm doing the last one I'm doing is Halloween Expo. As you know, we'll be hanging out with you there. Um, I think that's the last one I have for this year, with the exception of I'm working with a haunt here in Medford called Nightmares on the Rogue.
Okay.
So I'm helping them iron out some effects and tech, and make some new things happen, because they just finally got a new space and built a new haunt, and they have two haunts under one, like it's like a 10,000 square foot roof or something like that.
Oh,
Um, so I came in a little bit late, but this year I'm helping them knock out a few things, and then I think next year I'll be more involved in designing more of their characters. I'm helping a little bit now, but we're going to do much more of it next for the next scare season, which I think his next one will be Christmas. So as soon as this haunt, I think it opens in 10 days or something. and that runs through November, and then we'll, as soon as that closes, be working on the Christmas haunt.
Well, Christmas haunt. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So you did mention the Halloween Expo. That's October 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
In Spokane, Washington. So you're getting your hands dirty working on the haunt. So obviously you are into Halloween. Do you do any personal stuff with the family to kind of celebrate and get into it?
I wish I could say that I did. It always seems to be that, it's always my goal to do something for myself, but it always like work seems to just find me during that season. And, I mean, it just, people always approaching me for one thing or another. So it's tough to do my own stuff, which I'll get back to it. I mean, I do make stuff for myself occasionally.
So you don't dress up or anything and go to
No, I
parties
wish I
or...
could say that I did. I just don't. I'm an old man now.
Right. So the conventions, I noticed you've been hitting the convention circuit lately and doing appearances and events a lot. Um, what are your thoughts on that whole scene?
I like it. I enjoy doing it. What I enjoy the most about that is connecting with fans. I mean, I think I started doing these right around 2016-ish, 2015, 2016. Maybe it was a little bit earlier, but what I remember at that time was I was just an effects guy that I didn't think anybody knew who I was or gave a shit. But then I started getting people reaching out saying, "Hey, you worked on this? This is on your IMDb, or this, you did this or that," and that started becoming interesting to me. And I had a conversation with one of my agents, and he said, "No, oh, no, there people know who you are. Make no mistake." And I was kind of blown away by that, and I think I agreed to do. It was a podcast, actually. It was a live podcast. Um, gosh, and I'm trying to think. I think there was the convincing factor for me was doing that podcast. There was a guy. I think he was in Sweden, and I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning his time, and he had stayed up that long just to be able to ask me a question. And I was just floored. I couldn't believe that somebody really wanted to ask me a question that badly.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the horror fans, man. They're really, really
yeah,
dedicated.
they really
For
are,
sure.
and that's the coolest thing about doing these shows is just that, talking to them about how, whether it's something I made or just the film in general, how it was a part of their childhood, how it was a part of their life, and how they still love it. And it's a really cool connection to make. So I do enjoy doing these shows for that reason. That's really the most fun to me is I'll have fans come up and some celebrities, like, they'll have such huge lines or whatever, and they have only so much time to talk to people, and I hope it never gets that way for me, but I really enjoy talking to people. So I'll just tell them to come pull up a chair behind my table, and if they want to talk and ask more questions in between stuff, like, I'm happy to do that.
Right. Yeah,
I
'cause
just I love
it's almost like for each of them people that could be like a once in a lifetime moment to meet
yeah
somebody that they respect. So it's like
yeah
give them that
it is.
moment,
I don't take that for granted at all. Like, to be honest
Yeah.
with you, I wouldn't be able to do these shows if it weren't for the fans. Like,
Right.
that's what drove all of this. So that's why I love meeting them.
Right. So
I have a lot of gratitude for that.
with that being said, do you bring any interesting merch or props or anything to your appearances?
No props, because they're too heavy and expensive to bring anywhere.
Right.
There is occasion that I will bring, like the Night of the Demons masks or the busts. We have busts also. Um, I've brought those the last few times. I just decided to release copies. They're copies, but this will be actually Halloween Expo will be the first to get them. I will have blob storyboards. They're just copies of my storyboards, but I've got my storyboards out, and I ran some copies of specific pages of it, and I'll sign those, and that kind of stuff.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, they're really neat.
Yeah. Do you take time at these conventions yourself to kind of wander and check out the vendors and
I
meet people?
absolutely do. I love to do that because I like talking to the vendors too, and the vendors have a lot of cool stuff. So it's, I've even done where I've done trades with vendors where they're like, "Oh, well, we want an autograph," and I'm like, "Okay, well, give me a shirt or give me a,"
Yeah.
I love doing that too. Like I love the connection of the community there.
Yep.
It's just there's nothing like it.
Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to with the Halloween Expo?
I've never been, and I'll be honest with you. I think that this last year is the first time that I've actually been in the Pacific Northwest at all, as far as shows go. And like most of my stuff has been out either from Texas east.
Right.
And this is the first time I've actually been out in Western states and Pacific Northwest. I've had people ask me for years to get up there. And I'll tell you what, I did a Night of the Demons screening in Portland, Oregon. Man, the fans they're so cool there.
Yeah.
And like Seattle, I did a thing in Seattle. I came up to Seattle and did a signing, and I think it was Brian Prince and I, the guy that played the Predator. We did a signing in a store, and then we did a screening at this kind of after party type place. And man, it was just the coolest. It was cool because you get to sit and hang with people and talk about the movie. It's fun.
Yeah, man. There's a good scene up here in the Northwest, and
yeah. I really do like the fans up here. They're really passionate, and I love it.
Sure. So yeah, October 5th and 6th, Spokane. We will see you there. We're gonna have a good time. This is my first time attending this show too.
Awesome.
And we're definitely excited to be guests at it. Where can people keep up on your career?
Well, for social media, it's facebook.com/Nick J. Benson official. And on Instagram, it's Nick Benson 427. That's the best places to follow me and keep up with what I'm doing. You can send me messages at either one of those, and I usually respond within a day.
Very cool. So yeah, Nick, thanks for hanging out. We'll definitely see you. Well, we're
Can't
less
wait.
than 2 weeks away now.
Yeah, I'm
close.
really looking forward to it.
We're gonna have a good time. We have an awesome lineup of guests, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of great people coming, so I look forward to it.
Anything you want to throw out there, add before we wrap?
Not that I can think of. Just bring your stuff, bring your personal stuff, or I'll have a table full of stuff. Whatever, man. Just bring it. Bring your stories. Bring your talk box. Let's talk.
Yeah, come see us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thanks for hanging out, dude.
All right, Steve. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
The second annual Halloween Expo is casting a spell over Spokane.
I come to shop.
I like meeting my favorite stars.
I love the cosplay.
Featuring Kelly Maroney from Night of the Comet, Tom Matthews from Friday the 13th, and Russell Hodgkinson of Z Nation, and a supernatural Impala. Halloween Expo, October 5th and 6th at the Spokane Convention Center. Grab your tickets at the door and at HalloweenExpo.com. That's Halloween and the letters XSPO.com. Creep it real at Halloween Expo.
Hey, this is Dr. Gangrene. You're watching the Steve. No, you're not. You're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show right here on whatever network you're on. I don't know what you're on. Don't ask me. I can't see what you're doing, but keep listening and tune in next week for more cool content on the Steve and Crypto Show.
All right. We're back. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed Steve's chat with Nick Benson. I wish I could have been there for that one. I'm a fan of Tremors and a lot of other things that he was a part of. So, I mean, just go to IMDb and look at the full resume, because I know a few different things were mentioned in the interview, but look at his entire list. It's very impressive. And if you want to take it up a notch, you can just come to the Halloween Expo this weekend in Spokane, Washington, and you can meet him yourself and get an autograph, maybe get a photo with him, along with a lot of other people that are going to be there.
Yes.
And you can come see us at the Fall FestiCon featuring Russ Hodgkinson and a wide variety of different vendors, writers, creators of all types. And we'll be there with a lot of great company. So the really cool part about this festival is it's free to enter and it's family friendly. So I definitely recommend you come check it out. It's going to be October 12th in Kent, Washington. And then we'll be featured at the Grit City Comics Show November, what date was that again?
9th, I believe. It's the
November 9th. That's right.
And before we do wrap up, I want to recommend to our listeners that are in like the Northeast, New England, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, to check out the Happenstance Horror Fest. It's on Halloween weekend. It's at the Cinema Salem in Salem, Massachusetts. We'll have a link in the show notes, but we are officially sponsors of that festival, film festival and everything, and we're excited to be part of that. I wish we could be there physically, because it sounds like it's going to be an amazing event, but I already have prior engagements that weekend, and it's Halloween, and but it's going to be cool.
Yeah, we still thank them for the opportunity to be a part of it.
For sure. So be sure, if you're in the Northeast, or if you want to just take a trip to Salem for Halloween weekend, go check it out. It should be crazy. It usually sells out. So get tickets. We'll put a link to their page in the notes, like I mentioned. Like I said, before we wrap, Crypto Zoo is going to remind us about our friends, but make sure you stick around the end of the episode for more spooky rock from Monster A Go-Go. You can catch them playing the weekend of October 11th through 13th at Nightmare Weekend, and I believe that's in Virginia. Could be a mistake, I think it's in Richmond, but catch them there. Of course, we'll always put links in the notes so you could find them, find their music and whatnot, but be sure to stick around. Crypto, say bye to our friends and listeners.
We love doing this show. We do it for ourselves. We do it for you guys. And we love the sponsors and friends that help us keep this show going. So I want to mention once again our friends at Goth Cloth Company, our friends at Crypto Zoo Tees, and our friends at Galactic Druid Treats. Go check out all of them. Look them up on Facebook, look them up on Instagram, see what they have to offer. So once again, go check out all those companies and tell them that we sent you, and I guarantee you're going to like what you get from them. So we will see you at the Halloween Expo. We will see you at Grit City Comics Show. And happy Halloween, happy spooky season. Hope you guys like what you hear from us the rest of the month, and we will catch you later. Peace.